Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Bring order to your world. Bring order to your world. And you know how I go. I'm always talking about sovereignty and stuff. And I've talked about this subject before about controlling your boundaries. But you know what? It's one of those most important things that I'm going to stay on. I mean, if you really look at everything I talk about, whether it's on my Main Men's channel or it's on my Deep Thought channel or it's on my Money channel, it's all about a man having sovereignty. Sovereignty over what you think, sovereignty over the money, your income, your life, sovereignty over how you choose to deal with women. All of it is about sovereignty. It's about order. See, and it's this very simple process. First, every man needs, you need to have order over your own life. Your own life. This is regardless of who you work for, where you live, what country you live in. You at the prime level, you have to have control over yourself. You have to have order. Because I'm going to tell you something now, just on a practical level. If you got chaos in your life over yourself, you don't know what you want to do. Your thoughts are chaotic. You ain't you're not having that feeling of traveling or doing the things you got to do, or doing the things you want, or you just confused. You're not emotionally strong. Well, you're in trouble. Seriously. In fact, that's how the outside and things outside can control you. Because if you are strong within, nothing outside of you can really do anything. And even when you deal with outsiders, you're doing it because of your own choice. You're not being forced. You're not following. You got to be the leader of yourself if no one else. Let me say that again. You got to be the leader of yourself, regardless of what everybody else wants to do around you. So you start with yourself. And then you gradually expand that. But hold up, before I even go to gradually expanding it, over yourself means you're controlling how you're eating. You're not using any drugs or alcohol or anything. You're not using some addiction that's outside of you, even porn. Anything that's like taken away from your sovereignty. You're not the slave to it. Now, if you deal with any of that stuff, it's only because you choose to. But then if you want to say, you got to be to the point. If you want to say, look, I'm going to stop this, you can do it immediately. That's what I'm saying. You want to be that. So you want to start with yourself. And then, you know what? I always talk body game. When I'm talking about relationships, but it's a bigger thing with that. It creates discipline. It takes discipline to work out. It takes discipline to go to the gym or do those body weight exercises or walk a couple of miles when you probably don't feel like it. That's the thing that keeps it going. It's not even so much about the aesthetics or who it turns on sexually. It's about the discipline. When you can create that discipline. What's discipline? Order. Things go in a certain way. This is very key. This is something every single man has to work on. So you start with yourself, and then you gradually expand it to the area you live in. Your boundary, I've talked about boundaries several times. I said your boundary is about 3 feet away from you. So when whoever comes in that boundary, they either violating it or they have permission to cross or they are a part of your boundary. Any natural man has that. So you want to start there. So then you expand that to your environment. I've said this. Every single man should either have his own spot. And this could be an apartment. This could be a tent somewhere. This could be a mansion, wherever. But where he has control over the space, or to be honest, even when you buying a house or something, in most cases, it's really owned by the bank, but at least you have leverage. You're not in a situation where someone is totally in control. You have leverage. If you renting a home from somebody or a room from somebody and you don't like their behavior, you can always walk away. You want that type of leverage. So you still have control over your space, how you want to take it, but you always want to work towards it. If you're in a position now and you don't even have that, well, you got something to work on, because everybody ain't gonna start with that. And then sometimes things happen. So people got to move back in. They got to do all this. Okay. You work back to that place of sovereignty, and when you have a spot, that it should reflect who you are. It should reflect, and also keep it clean. Keep it clean. Keep some type of order in there. And then you still want to gradually expand that. You want to expand how the leverage that you have when you deal with other people. Now, let me be clear. Let me say this again. You cannot outright control other people, because every single person, even children, have a certain amount of free will. But you can still have leverage in how you deal with them. You can still be in a position where you can say, okay, I can get the things that I want out of this. Now, unfortunately, with that, sometimes people might abuse it, and I'll have to address that issue later. But you still want the choice in who you deal with, who you be around, everything. You don't want to be forced into a situation. You know me, on my money channel, I talk a lot about being an entrepreneur. Now, in general, I talk about managing your money, which, I'm going to get into the money thing in a second, just overall. But being an entrepreneur, you still have a position of leverage at least. And depending on the business, outright control over the business. Remember, I just said you can't control another human being. You can't control the inanimate objects or what you do for a living. You got control over that, because really that's an extension of you. And as far as money, is money a tool to you, or is it something that you worship? You should never worship money. Money is simply a tool to do the things you want to do. If you see it like that, you're not doing things you don't want to do. See, some people are slaves to money. That's not sovereign. You could have, if you got $1 million, but you still putting up with a lot of crap and all of this, what good is it? Now, if you have $1 million and you living the life that you want to live and doing the things you want to do, that's acceptable. So, and the thing is, even with all of that, money is still a tool. So you have to look at it like that. So every single moment, work to bring order. Now, is it 100% for anybody? No, because you're dealing with other people. I don't care. Even myself, as much control over as I have over my life, I don't have control over other human beings, but I do have leverage. So I want you, every single man listening to this, have that attitude. Hold up. What am I getting out of this? And do I have leverage in this thing? Extend it to how you work, extend it to where you live, extend it to who you deal with, particularly if you're dealing with women, extend it to the type of friends you will hang around. Always have order. And then when you're dealing with somebody else who had the same attitude, then y'all cooperating when necessary, because they should be bringing order to their lives as well. All right? So bring order to your world. It's very key for every single man to at least work on it. So that's all I have for today, y'all. Hey, bring that order. Peace and blessings.